Good evening and welcome to the pre-match show of Sports Today. This show basically is very, very interesting because we get to know so many things right before the match. Well, these two were the only teams who were yet to feature in this season and are playing against each other tonight. Yes, Rajasthan Royals versus Punjab Kings. And yes, Punjab Kings, no more Kings 11 Punjab because they have recently changed their names. I have quite many people today with me, but before that, let's have a look at Fan Fight.
It's match day. Play fantasy cricket now. Get up to 2.5 crores daily and lots more. 20 times more. Win big on Fan Fight. This game involves an element of financial risk and may be addictive. Please play responsibly and at your own risk.
Who are my panelists? We have Boria Mojumdar, we have Pragyan Oja, and we have Rajoshi Gupta. A very warm hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Pragyan, great to see that background today. Now I'm getting the feel that
Fine.
you are.
Finally, I'm home.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so a lot of conversation today. A lot of players have been added. A lot of players have been replaced. So let's start the conversation. The pre-match show updates. So first, we'll start talking about Punjab Kings. So talking about Punjab Kings, they have released Maxwell and bought in world number one T20 batsman, that is David Malan. So was it tit for tat replacement, or it was like they want someone to stay at the crease in the beginning and then go harsh towards the end? Because Maxwell can give you two quick things: either he can score quick runs or he will get out quickly. So we'll start with Boria first.
No, I don't think it's a direct replacement in that sense, and because Maxwell will also give you a couple of overs of off spin, which Malan will not, and I don't think Malan will start. In fact, Pragyan will also be able to tell me what he thinks on this. I think it will be Chris Gale as their number three, because last season we saw they waited with Chris Gale towards the second half of the tournament. Maybe they will start with Gale. So for me, the four foreigners are one Gale, two Puran, and I would go with the two fast bowlers. I would actually go Jai Richardson and Riley Meredith, or if I have to go with an all-rounder, I'll go with Moses. So I don't see David Malan, at least at the start of the tournament, featuring. Maybe I also don't see Gale, retaining fitness for 14 games at this age. So Malan will come in, but maybe not at the start. That's what I sense.
Also, Boria was asking Pragyan's view on this. So over to you, Pragyan.
Yes, I think I agree that Chris Gale should be there because we should understand that they are playing at Wankhede. And when you talk about Wankhede wicket, if you would have heard clearly what MS Dhoni said after the match he lost, he said that half an hour early start made a lot of difference. Those half an hour, ball was holding up a bit because there was no dew. Once the dew came in, the game totally changed. And when you have someone like Chris Gale at number three who can just come and change the game, imagine what he can do in Mumbai. He's already done that. So yes, Chris Gale will be there. Malan, I don't think he'll be playing. But instead of those two fast bowlers, I would like to see Indian fast bowlers because we have Mohammad Sami, we have got Harpreet, who's done really well last year, and then I think Ishan Porel is there. Then I think this combination will be good. Uh, I definitely back Indian fast bowlers because we have got good Indian fast bowlers. If you see domestic cricket, these guys have been performing. They have been doing well. So they should. And yes, these two young boys, the fast bowlers, they are bowling quick. They are tall. They bowl fast. But they are. They haven't played too many. I don't think they have played cricket in India. The wicket in India behaves differently. So our Indian fast bowlers, someone like Mohammad Shami and Harpreet, they would be much better in delivering. And this is the start of the game, start of the tournament for Punjab. So I think Indian fast bowler will be more valuable. That's what I feel.
All
See,
right. So
my point to that, Onisha, is I see where he's coming from, but I 100% see Jai Richardson playing. Maybe not
Yeah.
Meredith. Jai Richardson, he has played in India also. Was here with the Australia team. So he will bowl 145, 46. One of them will play. And for me, number one is Jai, number two is Meredith. That's how I see it. And I also see why Pragyan saying what he is, because Arshdeep Singh with his left arm was good. So Mohammad Shami and Jai Richardson 1-2, and maybe Arshdeep will be the third. And obviously there will be Ravi Bishnoi as their spinner. Will it be Moses Henriques as the all-rounder? Because we've seen what Moses was able to do in Australia. But it's a much better Punjab unit compared to last year. I mean, sorry, you were about to go to Rajoshi.
Also, okay, so as I can see that Pragyan is preferring the Indian bowlers, the Indian fast bowlers, and
No, I said if you want to have fast bowler, as Boriadar said, you can have one fast bowler because they don't have that kind of experience. In India, you need different lengths. If you're playing in Australia or in Sena countries, the lengths are different. The bounce is different. Yes, India, the wickets are good. If you're bowling in Mumbai, if you're bowling quick, you'll get some help. But later on, when the ball doesn't do anything, you need bowlers who have played there and know the conditions well, and it is very important for any team to start with. So that's why I said one of them.
okay, all right. Also, KL Rahul was very low with his strike rate last season. And Wasim Jaffer recently said that this season we will be seeing an aggressive KL Rahul. So, what do you think? Should he bat with the same pace, holding the crease from one end, allowing the likes of Gale and Puran to play aggressively, or he will improve the strike rate as Jaffer? This one's to Rajoshi.
Look, yes, I thought that maybe he could have been more aggressive last season, but again, you also have to realize that he was the Punjab middle order was a bit of a concern. Glenn Maxwell wasn't firing, and again, they played Chris Gayle towards the middle and the back end of the tournament. Again, I'm convinced that Punjab need to play Gayle up front because he's got that destructive ability. Will you see Chris Gayle playing 14 matches? I don't think so. Maybe 6, 7, 8 games where he can, even if he fires in 3 or 4 or 5 of them, uh, when many teams where Chris Gayle fires for, they wouldn't lose from that position. And if that is the case, and if you look at a batting lineup like KL Rahul, Mayank Agarwal, Chris Gayle, Nicholas Puran, I don't see Darwin Milan fitting in that unit yet. But then that gives him a lot of cushion and a lot of firepower to go with. Then you have Moises Henriques as well if he's playing as the fourth foreigner. But again, I completely see where Pragyan is coming from. Also, if I can add to that pace bowling conversation, because you saw last season, Punjab struggled with a couple of factors, like you mentioned, Rahul's strike rate, but he will probably improve on that given the cushion that he has this year, and also the fact that Punjab would be worried about that death bowling. So will Punjab go that extra step, take that extra aggressive step, and play both Jai Richardson and Riley Meredith with Nicholas Puran and even Moises Henriques? So does that make it a top-heavy combination? And then you have enough firepower with pacers alongside Mohammad Shami and Ravi Bishnoi. That is something that would be interesting.
And yes, Rajoshi, when you're actually talking about dead bowling, that was actually a concern for Punjab last season. So that's the reason why they have added Richardson and they have added Meredith. So yes, and we also have a Sports Today have an exclusive interview with Richardson where he's actually talking about it, because we have seen him performing terrific. He was terrific in the last BBL season, and from there to the Australia New Zealand series, and we have an exclusive interview with Sports Today. So here to all my viewers, let's enjoy this amazing interview with Richardson.
New experience, and of course that tag of multi-million dollars. How are you looking at the tournament?
Yeah, really excited. Obviously, I've had plenty of time to think about it here in quarantine, here in Mumbai. So I've had a couple of chats with Anil Kumble, our coach, about what the Punjab Kings have needed over the last couple of years, and what they've looked for in Riley and myself, sort of a game plan leading into our first game. And he's said that, we've needed someone to assist Mohammad Shami up front with the new ball, and the death overs as well. I think they mentioned that they had one of the highest economy rates in the death overs last year. So hopefully Riley and myself can bring a little bit of experience in those particular areas for Punjab, but certainly looking forward to the challenge. I've played in India a couple of times now, so know what to expect here and ready to embrace the challenge.
Okay, so that was Richardson for all of you. I'm sure that you have already watched that video, which is on our channel, Sports Today. If you haven't, then you still have a scope to go and watch it before the match starts. All right. So with that, let's talk about Rajasthan Royals now. So in the last 2 seasons, Rajasthan Royals were the worst bowling side in death overs, despite the presence of Archer in their side. The economy of their bowlers were more than 11 in the last 2 seasons. So what do you think, Boria? How can they improve their death bowling?
Yeah, I mean, Jofra Archer not being there is a huge problem. Huge problem. I mean, make no mistake that he was their premier bowler. We know he's one of the best in the world, recuperating from that injury and that operation. Will they rush him? Yesterday, Sangha said no. So Kumar Sangakkara's presence will completely change the way Rajasthan Royals approach it. So who will be their bowlers? They've spent their purse for Chris Morris, but Chris Morris has a tendency to leak runs at the death. Yes, he will bowl 140, but Archer is a better bowler. They have Karthik Tyagi. They will probably go in with obviously Ben Stokes. So Ben Stokes, Karthik Tyagi, none of these bowlers, Chris Morris, inspire that kind of confidence that they will be able to stop the run flow at a wicket like the Wankhede. So that will be a problem for the Rajasthan Royals. The formula can be whatever the opponent score, I'll top that with a Ben Stokes and a Butler and that kind of, and obviously Samson, that kind of a batting lineup. But death bowling for me remains a major concern for the Rajasthan Royals without Jofra Archer even this season.
All right. And also, Rajasthan Royals, they were dealt with huge blow as Jofra Archer was pulled out this season because of a hand surgery he had. So they have roped in Chris Morris this time. So what do you think? Is he a good replacement? Because Morris is good with his Yorkers at the end overs and he can bat as well. Pragyan?
Pragyan, will you also play Mustafizur Rahman? Is that an option for you? Though he's still in quarantine.
But we have to see if he's out of the quarantine. If he's in the quarantine, then we can't even discuss about him. He won't be available. But yes, Chris Morris, as we said, he bowls 140. He's got that experience. I always believe, when people have experience, they can bounce back. And when you have lost someone like Jofra Archer from your team, who was your spearhead when the bowling as far as the bowling department is concerned, so you need to see who can do. You've got someone like Tyagi, Karthik Tyagi, who really did well for you. He showed that he belongs there. And then with the experience of Morris, you've got Jaydev Unadkat, who's a left-arm seamer. And these guys have experience. We cannot think about the past. As I said, Mumbai Indians was the champion last year, but this is a new season. Same way, you have to look at, once you have picked those players, you have to back them. When you're backing them, you have to have a fresh mind. You cannot be sitting on those past laurels or past bad experiences. So I believe you have got a good bunch of fast bowlers right now. You cannot be thinking about Archer. It's a big blow, I know, but you have to move on. The show must go on, and you have to prepare your bowlers. And I think Jaydev Unadkat and Karthik Tyagi can be your, the leaders of the pack, because Morris will play a dual role. He has to bat, and then you will see where he can be a floater while you're bowling, because as we are discussing, they have a problem with the death bowling. So they need to find something to click, and this first game will be very important. And the most important thing will be the captain is changed. We will see how Sanju Samson handles the team. There's a lot on his shoulders now. Before, he was their main batsman who used to get those runs and stand quiet in the field and was just thinking about fielding. But now he's the captain. He has to make sure everything is all right. He has to take that extra responsibility. So we have to see how the captain does. The leader of the ship, the captain of the ship, if he handles things well, the ship will it'll sail smoothly. If that doesn't, because he's a new captain, that's why I'm saying, if he panics, then lot of things will affect the team, because there are a lot of things that they need to address.
Anisha,
Yes.
the other point is Andrew Ty. We've
Yes,
not
Gauri.
spoken about him yet. Andrew Ty is the other option that Rajasthan has. Rajashi, if you see Australia, if you see the Big Bash, even the Australian national side, Andrew Ty has been in and out, but been there for quite a period. Had a 5-wicket haul in the IPL also. Would you play Andrew Ty for Jofra Archer?
It's actually not a bad
No.
option at all. Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, I was saying no, because I've seen him. He had picked those 5 wicket haul. But if you see those deliveries that he got, those 5 wicket, it was more of
Brutal.
slower ones and mix of pace. But in Mumbai, uh, uh, I'm telling you, the wickets are very good. So if you're bowling second, those variation will not help you. You have to either bowl quick, or you have to be someone like Bumrah or Malinga. You would have seen, because these guys play 8 to 9 games every year in their home ground. So I believe you have to have quick bowlers who have those good yorkers, who have those good bouncers. Then you can create an impact when you're playing in Mumbai. And Andrew Ty, he really backs himself to bowl those slower ones. He can be very effective when you're playing in Chennai, playing in Delhi. So these are the venues where you're playing. Then Andrew Ty will be very important for you.
But again, to add to that point from Boria, why Andrew Ty, I also thought that he might be a decent option when you don't have an out and out express pacer instead of Jofra Archer. Yes, there is Chris Morris, but again, he's prone to leaking runs. Would you rather have someone who does gets that variation? Even I get your point on on the Wankhede conditions, but when you don't have a life for life replacement, do you go for sheer pace, or do you go for someone who gets in that variation and who has a good slower ball to deceive the batsman
But 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 you
of the.
have got good Indian fast bowlers. Both the teams, they have got good fast bowlers. If you don't have good Indian fast bowlers, then you look for variation. But when you're playing, first thing they ask you is, as a batsman, is your defense solid? If your defense is not solid, then you're looking to survive. You don't know how to survive. My point is like very cricket based. I'm talking about the technical part. I would rather back someone like Kartik Tyagi or Jaydev Unadkat, because I know they can bowl those Yorkers. They have done that. But Andrew Ty, somehow, it's my personal choice. I'm not saying he won't play, but I'm just telling you. In Mumbai, I wouldn't play him. In Delhi, I will, because the wickets are, a little slower. They behave a little slower. And then, if you bowl those variations, the bounce is very less. So it is very difficult to hit the bowler out of the park. So
Anisha,
it depends on the wicket.
the other question is how important is the toss in Mumbai?
Yes,
Because
I
the
was
toss
coming.
is not so important in Chennai, but in Mumbai, the moment you win the toss blindly, you will say bowl. Because the
Yeah.
moment you do that, any chase, 180, 190, 200 is doable because of that due, because of the condition. So is it the toss that is playing a deciding role in Mumbai? And will people change their teams who play fantasy based on that? But again, how important is the toss in Mumbai? For me,
It's
very
very
important.
important. Yeah, you listen to every time you listen to any captain who plays in Mumbai, they will say they win the toss, bowl first. MS Dhoni, just last game, he said toss was very crucial, because normally we used to start at 8 o'clock. IPL used to start at 8, but it's 7:30, so there is lesser dew. Those first half an hour, what MS Dhoni was telling was the wicket was behaving differently because it was dry. But the moment there was dew on the wicket and on the outfield, the game changed. They were targeting somewhere around 160, 170, but they were not up. They never thought they will reach. But because of the dew, they were like 180 plus, and it was chased easily. So we must keep that factor in mind when you're playing in certain stadiums or certain places where at times due or maybe the conditions, they become important, and you need to know exactly what you have to do. Those things matter. They will decide either you're going to win or lose.
In that
Also,
sense, sorry, Anish, also
yeah.
just a question to both Gori and Pragyan. It will be interesting to take their perspective on this. Is Mumbai becoming the Sharjah of IPL 2021, gentlemen? Is 180, 190, if these are not, these are not scores to be trifled with, but should teams be looking at par score plus 10 or 15? Because, we spoke about that in the ODIs, where even 315, 330 is not safe anymore. Or should it be 180 and par score plus 10, 15? Should the teams be looking at it like that?
Yeah, if you're playing
Pragyan?
in Mumbai, I think if your target is 180, you should be looking to get at least 10 or 15 runs more because that is the cushion you need to have. You don't know how the ball is going to behave once the dew affects the wicket and the ground. So yes, it totally depends. As I said, when you're playing on certain venues and you try, first thing you have to do is you have to assess the condition because they are something which plays a major role. But at times a lot of people they don't keep an eye on that. So you have to listen to players who have played there or the captains when they after the game when they're talking about the particular venue. So that's when you get a lot of ideas. That's when you decide what kind of bowlers or batsmen you need on certain conditions.
Also, when we were talking about Rajasthan Royals, a very important question is last season they were actually experimenting with a lot of batsmen, opening batsmen. They experimented with Uthappa, they experimented with Butler, with Stokes. All of them were getting a chance to open. So, what do you think? Who's gonna be this season's like consistent opener?
If I
Boria?
was given the choice, I would go with Ben Stokes and Joss Butler straight away. Ben Stokes, Joss Butler, Mumbai might win you a game. Number 3, Samson. Because last year they had Steven Smith as a result and they had Uthappa, right? You rightly said. So they were trying these combinations. But Joss Butler for England, we know what he can do. Ben Stokes recently we know what he can do. Even in that India series was special. So Ben Stokes, Joss Butler 1, 2, and number 3 for me will be Sanju Samson. Or if you want to open with Samson, then maybe Stokes at 3. That's how I would have gone with it. I just want to make this point to everyone. Lots of questions keep coming to me on fantasy. Just very quickly, straight away, look at the toss. The team that wins the toss, back that team 7-4. What do I mean? So whichever team bats first, go with the top heavy batting and also go with the bowling of the team that is bowling first. The team that is bowling second hardly have any bowler and pack it with batting. So 4 wicket keepers in this have all 4, 3 batsmen, and then maybe 1 all-rounder and 3 bowlers. But whichever team wins the toss, go with a 7-4 in their favor because in Mumbai, as Pragyan was explaining, they have a huge advantage going in. Normally, I am going with Mayank Agarwal as captain at the moment, but if Rajasthan win the toss and they are bowling, Ben Stokes is my captain, maybe Joss Butler is my vice captain straight away.
Okay.
Good
And
point. Good point.
also
And
sports.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
again.
was just adding to the point what Boriada made. Yes, I don't mind whatever the openers you're looking for, but I was listening to Sanju Samson. He, as a captain, when he was talking to the press, he said clearly that we saw last season what happened. There were a lot of changes in the batting order this year. Whoever opens or whatever the lineup
Will
they
get a
decide,
run,
the first 3, they will get a long run. They will make sure that they do it unless there are some forced changes. So it shows that Sanju Samson exactly knows what he has to do, and he's been doing a lot of study as soon as he became the captain. It's a good thing. I feel it's a very mature thing. I am a person who believes in process and in backing your players. So this is a very good statement to your team that boss, whether we lose or win, first 3 or 4 games we are not changing anything. You are the guys who are going to play. So it gives you a sense of belonging. I really appreciate it.
Well, to all my viewers, it's time for us to show you another interview, which is by Meredith. Yes, when we all are sitting at home, not all, but there are quite many people who are working from home, who are sitting at home, but at the same time, they want some entertainment. They can't go out because of the pandemic. So there are few players who are thanking God that at least they have some work to do, and at the same time, they are entertaining all of you by their game. So, yes, we discussed the same with Meredith, and here is the exclusive interview for all you viewers out there.
Riley, at a time like this, when the world is trying to cope with negativity and gloom and depression, sport is still that one thing that brings smile to millions of people. I mean, in India, for example, 130 crore people will tune into the television sets from tomorrow watching you guys. And every time you pick a wicket or Jai picks a wicket, the good thing about the IPL is India wins. We are not going to lose to Australia or to England. India will win. So I think what you all do is a huge service, ultimately bringing positivity. Do you think that is one of the biggest aspects of sport, and that's what has helped sustain, people like us who are sports fans over the last 1 year or so?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably one of the great things about being in the position that we are, and we can, play for everyone out there, and give them something to watch, and hopefully a bit of entertainment for them. But it's lucky that we're able to play it all at the moment. Really, obviously, COVID's such a big thing at the moment, and hardly anyone's doing anything outside the world. So, for us to be able to travel all the way from Australia and come over here and play over in India, it's not lost on us at all how big a thing that is, and we're really excited to get into it. And as I said, hopefully we can give a bit of entertainment for everyone out there watching.
Well, I'm sure that you all enjoyed the exclusive interview with Meredith. Boria is doing a great job getting all the best of players for Sports Today, and we're going to have a lot more in the future for all you people who are actually watching Sports Today and showering a lot of love to this channel. All right, with this, from today, what we have planned is we are going to be your voice. Yes, I'm talking about all the fans and followers who are actually watching the show. We're going to take a lot of questions from you all, and we want our experts to answer them. Because apart from discussing, we also want to know that what the fans and followers wants to know from us. So there have been a lot of questions. So I would again request Boria to get the questions, because I don't have a system in front of me right now. So if we can pick at least 3 questions, one each for everyone.
Okay, Nilesh Yadav, Stokes will be the X factor. Where should he bat? For me, he opens. Pragyan, quickly, where does Stokes bat for you?
I think spot on. They have given the responsibility to Stokes to come open or one down, so he has to bat there. But I personally believe if he plays middle order, he will be more destructive. He can come and give you those extra 20-30 runs quickly. But it depends on the team. I think it looks clearly that they want Stokes to bat as an opener. But when you talk about Sangakkara is a person who believes in having a lot of depth. So when you talk about depth, I think Stokes can come in the later part, little down the order, and give that cushion to RR.
Okay. SZ, Sanju is the only captain who's not currently in the national side. Rajoshi, take this. How important is this season? SZ has followed it up with another one. So the question basically is, how important is this season for Sanju Samson?
Important from a lot of perspective. Of course, we've seen Sanju Samson, what he's capable of doing in the shorter format. And with the T20 World Cup, a lot of these players would be really desperately wanting to prove themselves. Of course, selection is not that easy, because the Indian core team is more or less ready, and the likes of Shikhar Dhawan, who we thought would be a third option for as opener alongside the likes of Ishan Kishan, KL Rahul. Of course, there is a lot of competition, but when you have something like the IPL and a T20 World Cup here in India, this is critical, and you'd want to improve. And of course, also as captain, he'd want to lead from the front, not just for this year, but to ensure that he has a good and bright future in India colours in the coming years.
Okay, Pragyan, Anisha asked me to take 3, the last one, Dheeraj Rao. And in fact, I'll add one more to that. Talk about a little bit Rahul Tewatia. Had an incredible 2020. Will he shine again? And Dheeraj Rao asks, I'll ask that Dheeraj Rao question, what about Shivam Dube? So Rahul Tewatia and Shivam Dube, Pragyan.
Yeah, Pragyan, this is for you.
Boreda, your voice was cracking. Actually, I could not hear. This was about
Rahul Tewatia and Shivam Dube.
Shivam Dube.
I think they are very promising. We have seen what Tewatia could do. Everybody was giving the example of if life can do a Tewatia to all of us, and we move on in life, and everything becomes normal. So he's had a brilliant impact on all of us. And when you talk about Shivam Dubey, yes, he's a very good promise. He can bat. He can give you those big six and bowl those gentle medium pace. Very utility cricketer. Both are very crucial for RR because RR, if you see right from their start, they have always believed in all rounders. That is the reason they always pick 5, 6 all rounders in their team because they feel that if someone is not doing well, they have few options. So these two guys are very good, and with the selection into the Indian team, Rahul Tewatia, I think it will give him a lot of confidence. And Shivam Dubey is also there in the mix. So everybody will be eyeing on that T20 World Cup because this is one of the biggest platform for everyone to perform and make sure they make a statement. And these two guys are just knocking around.
Well, we are already running ahead of time. So, one quick question to Boria because he didn't take any question personally. And then we quickly gonna wind up the show because we again have to come back in a few minutes to give you a details about the toss. We have to talk about the pitch. So, yeah, here we go. The question is we saw Rishabh Pant starting on a winning note. So, will Sanju Samson start his career with a win or will it be Punjab Kings tonight? The prediction from you, Boria.
See, I think again, I mean, it is difficult to say before the toss. I do think whichever team wins the toss is a 70-30 ahead. So Punjab wins the toss, KL will be ahead. If Rajasthan win the toss, they are 7 because it's Mumbai. Had it been Chennai, it's not the case. Because it's Mumbai, I will say whichever team wins the toss has a massive advantage. I don't generally sit on the fence, but I would say the toss is the winner, at least as far as Mumbai is concerned in a T20 contest.
All right, so everything depends on the toss, which we'll get to know in a few minutes. So, yes, that's all for the pre match updates for everybody out there who is watching the show right now. So, stay tuned to Sports Today because there's a lot more waiting for all you guys. Thank you.